Alright, this should be our last video for the budgeting project. If you've kept up to this point, you've already finished the original budget and you're ready to do the revised budget and then the letter, and then you're all done. Looking at the original budget, okay, just to clarify, because some people are still wondering, there are going to be some categories that are left blank, okay? No water and sewer, to the credit cards, no investments. So there's some categories that are going to be blank in this budget. This is a generic budget. We're not going to use every category, so just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and look at document 5, which is the instructions for budgeting. Let's read this real quick. Take a look at it. But one of the important parts is that not only did Jim and Pam want you to fix their budget and fix their spending problems, they also want you to help them achieve 2 goals. Alright? Take a look at these 2 sentences. Within 10 months, they would like to pay off their credit card balance, which is $535, and save $2,000 for their emergency fund. Okay? So you have to set up a budget that will help them achieve those 2 goals. Now, it's within 10 months, so they don't have to get this all done in 1 month. That would be impossible. Alright, because that's, $2,500 when they make $3,000 a month. So you have 10 months to do it. So the amount of money you need to set aside is divided by 10. If you go down here, if you to this point, you've already done number 1 and 2. Alright, so we're focusing on the last 4 steps, which would be steps 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, I'll explain most of these, but one thing you're definitely going to want to do is take a look at number 4. Alright, I'm not going to go through all of these, but there's certain areas where Jim and Pam won't make any changes to their account. Won't refuse to change. Go ahead and take a second and read through those before you decide to cut any money. So let's go ahead and take a look at our budget. Alright, here's our budget. Here's how they have been spending their money. Now, your job for the revised budget is to make them a budget that will spend all $3,000. Okay, as you notice from the original budget, they had been spending more than $3,000, so you're going to need to cut some spending in certain categories to fit them in that $3,000. Right now they're spending over. Alright, so you probably already know some places in their budget where you think they spend too much money. I've heard kids talking about this category and that category, and man, they spend a lot of money here. So it should be fairly easy for you to find a couple places where they're overspending. And like I said, this number, of course, it's made up. These numbers are fictitious. Some of them are real, some of them aren't. So in reality, they spend over by about $80 a month. So there's $80 that you definitely need to cut from the budget. But keep in mind that we are going to increase the credit card payment each month so that we can pay that off, and we need to add an emergency fund. We need to start saving up for that emergency fund. Like I said, I'm not going to tell you those amounts. You'll have to figure those out on your own, but you're going to have to cut even more spending than that. So you have to go through, okay, and decide how much money to put into every category. Okay, make cuts where you feel needed, but remember to be logical. Alright, so many times I see kids cut out groceries and cut out dining. Well, what are they going to eat? They cut the groceries down to $100 a month and the dining down to 0. Well, you can't live off $100 worth of groceries a month. Be logical, okay? Be smart with how you cut your money. Don't cut from necessities, alright? Don't cut out their electricity, alright? They need electricity in their apartment. So be smart with the areas where you cut money, but for the most part, it's up to you. Alright, just make sure you look at that document number 4 where it says where you can't cut expenses. When it's all said and done, this revised balance should be 0. Okay? If you've gone through and you've made logical and decent cuts to their spending, if you have achieved their 2 goals of paying off the credit card in 10 months and paying off or building an emergency fund in 10 months, and that revised balance is 0, then you should be in good shape. Okay, so once you've done that, once you've made your suggestions for their budget, you're done. So this is the part where you get to be a little creative, and you get to be the financial expert, and you need to give them advice as to how you think they should spend their money. So this is where you get to be a little creative here and have a little fun with it. Alright? The very last part that you have to do, the very last part to this project, is to write them a letter. Okay? You're going to write Jim and Pam a letter basically just explaining this project. Explain what you did. The step-by-step process of what you did to their budget. Alright? It should be about 200 words. That might seem like a lot, but trust me, it's not. Once you get writing, it won't take long at all. Alright? And as I say in the explanation, write it as though it's a letter from a financial advisor to a customer. So use a letter format and write it like you're writing it to Jim and Pam. Don't write it like you're writing it to me. Okay, don't write it like you're a student explaining to a teacher. Write it like you're a financial advisor writing to a client and telling them, hey, this is what was going on. These are the steps I took. And this is how I believe you should spend your money. These were the problem areas. We cut spending here. We added spending there. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Another aspect is you can take some liberties with this budget a little bit. If you think they should add spending to a particular category, if you think they should pay a little more towards their student loans, you create the spending the way you think they should spend their money. Okay, you can take a little liberty to change some things. Like I said, just be logical. Don't cut out their necessities, but if you want to come out some of those wants, in particular maybe from entertainment, and some of this personal care stuff, clothing and such, it's up to you. Okay, as long as that figure comes out balanced, then you should be in good shape. Alright? And as soon as you've got your revised balance put together, or your revised budget, you've got that figure down to zero, you've got your letter written, you've got all the other parts done, then you are done with this project. Alright, so good luck finishing up the project. Once again, if you have questions, ask me. And that's it. Thank you.